perfect and accurate. After trial and error for maybe 2 years, 3 years even, you're gonna
Damn.
have the best version of that.
Like the video.
So I recently made a Fire Force video that flopped pretty bad, and in that video I explained that I love all the Fire Force characters, even the ones that I hate. But what does that mean? Well, it means that no one watched the video. See, it means that there are some characters in this show that I really hate as individuals, but for what their goal is, they are undeniably great as characters of the show. But who am I talking about specifically? Well, it's every, and I truly mean this, every single villain in Fire Force. I hate them all. They're obnoxious, rude, and unreasonable just to get the ball rolling. And this is definitely by design. You don't just stumble into a perfectly hateable character that works, much less an entire ensemble. And you might be saying, well, it's not that bad. What do they really do? You don't sound like that, but if you do, it's okay. Let me just start with Hajime Boss. Button-mashing asshole that can't see beyond a dollar. And what's so bad about this one is we have real-life companies like this, maybe even worse. Humea, the high-voltage horse girl psychopath who is just ungodly mean to my man Charon, who I hate the least of all the villains because he's only like mildly annoying. Oh god, the puppeteer and Kurano. Already grosso maximum, but their proximity to kids, that's an extra 6 feet on their graves. A magnificent thumbs down. Inca, listen. I don't say the B word often, but Inca makes that sentence I don't say the B word often enough, because this girl had me squeezing the screen with my toes. Who cares if you love danger? Go play the stock market, go jump out of a plane. Hell, you could have just walked down a dark alley with a little bit of cash on you and you'd have all the danger you needed. This girl makes my eyes roll out of the back of my head into a pit of spikes. But on an unrelated note, did you know that most warranties don't cover foot-related damage? Go figure. Even someone who wasn't technically evil and wasn't annoying or hateable like Captain Burns falls victim to this just wave of unlikable that washes over these villains just due to proximity, which, if we're looking at it that way, it does draw a line between the extras like Rekka and the people in the fray like Giovanni, who is probably the most unlikable of the bunch. But that's also probably due to him having a little bit more screen time, as I'm sure if I got anywhere near as much of any other villain, I would probably say the same. However, I did start this video with the notion that I even love the characters I hate. But what's to love if you hate them? Well, here's the thing, disembodied voice. I like my villains diverse. I don't need every villain to have a deep and relatable backstory, but I also don't think evil for no reason is a thing. Even if it's small and insignificant to you or whoever else, there's always a reason something happened. And not only do the villains here have diversity in terms of their backstories, they kind of hit the nail on the head in terms of motivation. Whether you want to say it's wonder or fear or just having a thing for church girls, these villains are following what they actually believe to be God. And when you think about it like that, it's easy to see why exactly they seem so batshit crazy. But it still specifically highlights a certain brick house of a captain who seems to be on the opposing side. Captain Burns is one of those characters you really only come to understand through thinking about them outside of the context of what they're doing, based on how they're acting in the moment. And it's clear Burns is on his let me beat you to teach you type shit, because he's no idiot. He and everyone else have been following an unstoppable force that has literally shaped their world. So unless he can stop what's going on, he's at its mercy. And so is any other weaker schlub. So Burns' whole deal is that he wants someone to actually be able to stand up to this threat, instead of throwing empty words around like hero, hope, and salvation, which is why he's gonna make damn sure if somebody wants to stand up, they're gonna have to prove themselves worthy by beating him. And I can actually get behind that, but what does that have to do with the rest of the villains? Well, they all fulfill their roles as pawns so well within the story that it makes complete sense. They're all annoying beyond reproach, because if they weren't, it would seem like a level-headed group of people who just made a mistake or are on the wrong track by accident, and that in itself would have tanked the series just because their goal is in no way relatable or empathetic. And here's the kicker. Most of these villains are relatable or empathetic, but not in the vein of their villainy. Like Sharon, his parent-like care for Humea is empathetic, but that doesn't really have anything to do with his or the evangelist's goals. You see what I mean? The cause is not relatable, and neither is the person as a whole, but a tiny aspect of them gives you a sense of why they are where they are without making it seem like it was just a bad luck thing or an accident. Every single one of them is there on purpose for their own individual reasons, and I like that a lot. They're not just lost souls on the wrong path that need saving. They're fundamentally corrupted individuals who don't want to change. And honestly, that feels a bit realer than it should. But hey, that's all I got. Who's your favorite villain in Fire Force? Let me know down in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe. If you ever want to support a bit more, there's a thanks and a join button. Either is fine, and every little bit revs up my fryers. So I hope you enjoyed the video, because I appreciate you watching. Until next time, peace.
That thunder on me clap, make a nigga think before he act. Have a nigga dying on his back, then we double back. Shooters leaving rubber where you at. That's why niggas never wanna match.